Hello everybody and welcome back to Forever and Ever, the Kelly Fans Podcast. It's Season 4, Episode number 25, and we're coming to you live from Limelight Studios in Irvine. It's the first show of 2026. My name's Paul Alexander Montgomery, Esquire, and I'm joined across the desk by my co-host, friend and colleague, Callum Michael Scott. How's it going, Kelly Cal?
Feels really weird being back.
Didn't it?
Because I only came back for 1 week, didn't I? Or was it 2 weeks? No, just the one, I think.
Aye.
And then I was away gallivanting again, so
That's right.
it feels strange to be back in the routine. Hopefully 2026 a bit more consistency and match fit.
Aye, it's been a tricky few weeks for you, but you're looking well. You feeling alright?
I don't know if I'm looking well or not,
No.
but I'm feeling alright.
Nice festive season?
Did so, aye, brilliant. Then
Good.
we can maybe go into that, given the football and never made one of the games, and another game I lasted half an hour before.
I met your friend and mine, Kyle Lennon, who was telling me all about it.
Oh, where did you meet Kyle?
Met him in Shooters, obviously.
In Shooters. What was he doing in Shooters?
He was playing darts. Oh, I sold him at the river there.
Nah, disappointing. But I was actually talking about the pints in Mahu there recently, and saying how good they were, and that wee Sunday we had there before, going back to our spiritual home, the Pyramid. It was actually pretty enjoyable.
It was magnificent, wasn't it? It's obviously been a tricky month or so when you and I have been apart with Gary Holt in a fortnight ago, who was absolutely tremendous.
He was, excellent.
Gave a great insight.
Really enjoyed listening. Well, I watched it when I was in London. I didn't get around to listen to the Patreon maybe until probably about a week ago, but
Thanks.
But it was excellent. It was excellent.
Aye, it was
Very
really good, wasn't it? So obviously loads and loads to get through the night. Obviously we've still not appointed a permanent manager. It seems to be down to two names that we keep hearing, Robbie Neilson and Neil McCann. If something unfolds whilst we're on the air, which might or might not happen, we'll obviously talk about it, but I'm assuming it'll be next week before we get into that. There's been plenty of football to talk about today in the intervening couple of weeks over the festive season. Obviously Hibs being the most recent game, so we'll maybe touch on that slightly, but as I say to you in the call down here, I'm kind of at a loss now in terms of talking about the actual ins and outs of the game, because it's the same stuff, and it's been the same stuff for 12 or 13 weeks. So what more can you say?
No, that's it. You can summarise 4 of the games or whatever it is. We talk collectively, you know what I mean. The fact is we've got 1 point for them. It's not been good enough, and really disappointing. And Saturday again showed that. That was honestly one of the worst first halves of displays I've seen for us, and I've seen plenty of them, but it's just the same stuff every single week. And again, we're probably better talking about the potential new managers and where the club actually goes for here, as opposed to the ins and outs of the game, as you say.
Aye, I think the ins and outs of the game is a fallacy, because experiencing it once was probably once too many anyway, and then having to go back through it all. I don't see what positives there are to take from much of it anyway.
Nah.
Let's say over the course of the festive games, anybody have a good performance? Would you say anybody that you thought, oh, that wasn't too bad? I thought centre half Brown, for a young guy against, come in and looked like he's at least part of the squad and capable of playing at that level.
I will, by all accounts, I think it's St Mirren he looked assured. And I actually thought on Saturday that Mayo looked a bit more like himself, right, despite us still getting beat 3-1 or whatever. But it was probably one of the better games he's had for weeks, because he's been one of I think that he's get away with a wee bit of criticism in comparison to how some his other central defender partners have been getting. But I thought that he looked a bit more like himself. But there's no many that stand out or that you can say I've get past marks at all.
What about John Jules? What's your feeling on him?
It's a strange one, because I know the Kelly View boys had a kind of debate on it, and I can see where both are coming from. It's a strange one, because you're like, well, who's making that decision? Like, you know what I mean? To extend his deal. So 100% get where Stephen Holt's coming through on that. But I actually do think that if he's played up front, I think that there is potentially something to work there with. Like, I think that he could maybe offer more than some of the other strikers in the building. But that's not me saying that, again, like, we need to build a team around him. But I just think that playing in number 9, he looks like he's at least got something. And I
know a lot of folk are saying that he's got that kind of language style. I actually don't mind that, because it looks to me like he's got a wee bit of time on the ball and he's quite strong, I think. And I thought that was his goal. Like he shoved the guys out the road. Again, he's not a world beater, but he scored 3 goals today, which is more than anybody else looks like they're going to score. So I don't mind
different types of goals as well, to be fair. So I think that, well, he's the least of their worries, if I'm being honest.
Aye, there's plenty of them. Right, so obviously the situation is this on the Monday night. This is the 5th of January. The situation is we still don't have a manager. As it stands, many names have been talked about. Robbie Fowler was talked about at one stage. I heard that a couple of weeks ago that he was in the frame, and then his name kind of got reported. You were obviously right on the Brucey Patrol. We've got now, unfortunately, got 500 Brucey Patrol t-shirts made.
They were looking to give away. So open to offers. That's obviously not going to happen. Peter Laven was talked about in dispatches for a while, but now Aberdeen have sacked their manager and he's in interim charge, so that's not going to happen. Does seem to be down to Neil McCann. And Robbie Neilson. So I think the overwhelming favourite for that would be Neilson in terms of who the support would want out of they two. Is that where you're at with it just now? Aye, I'm just happy that Neilson's allegedly back in the frame, because I'd heard at the weekend that it was Neil McCann's job basically. So the fact that the Robbie Neilson's come back to the fore. I mean, Neilson was the most obvious appointment in the summer.
He was the man in the summer,
and he was the most obvious appointment for me going into Saturday, and then I heard the contrary to that. But what I will say is, at the game at half time on Saturday, I was like, who really wants this job unless they're desperate to get in? And that's why the McCann thing really added up to me, because I'm like, Robbie Neilson's got a decent managerial reputation to protect, and it's not like I said some weeks ago that I think it's an attractive job. We've let too much time pass for now. We've written off 4 games that we've picked up 1 point for. Like, we're now 9 points adrifted in D, who we were all laughing at in the summer, saying, oh well, at least we've not appointed Stephen Presley, which folk are well aware of my personal views at that point. In group chats, I think Stephen Presley's done far more in football than Stuart Kettlewell ever will, but that's another matter altogether. And we were in a position where we could have leapfrogged them, and now look at us, we're 9 points off the pace with them, and without being reactionary and panicking and all the rest of it, the highest we'll finish this year's 11th. I just think that we've let far too much time pass, and it's a dogfight to avoid 12th place, and let's hope for the best in the playoffs. I think
you're right. I don't think we can finish above 11th now, even if we do quite well.
Aye.
Because I totaled up the rest of the results, well, up to the split, and I've got us on 25 points at the split, right? Which I think has been a wee bit generous in a couple of games too, slightly, which isn't going to be enough to keep you out of 11th, I don't think. I just don't think there's a big turnaround coming here, and I do think, unfortunately, whereas maybe a month ago 10th was the real target, I think 10th now is probably exceeding my expectation, because I just think we don't have enough games. The teams are too far in front of us. St Mirren are the next team above us. I just don't see, unless maybe Robinson goes to Aberdeen and it really unsettles them, I just don't see how they're not going to pick up enough points to be at least 7 or 8 clear of us by the end of the season. So unfortunately, I do think, and that's me just being honest, no defeatist, I don't think it's impossible that we finish 10th. But I really do believe now that what you said, shake my horn and I'll take 10th, I'd do shake my horn and take 11th now.
Aye, well,
because I honestly think we could finish bottom.
That's right, because we've let far too much time pass again, and we've allowed Dillon to take these games as caretaker, and if anything, I think that we've got worse, and I don't really put that directly at his door. I think it's just the circumstances. I mean, I don't blame him. He's coming in to obviously run the youth academy or the 19s or whatever, but and we've had winnable games there, and in particular that game against Dundee was the biggest game of the season, and we flopped big time, and I just think that we're in an absolute mess here, and it's all got to come down to the playoffs if we're that lucky.
On Doolan's short spell in charge, I do genuinely feel really sorry for him, because not only has he not got anything to work with there, which is evident, he also will know probably week to week what's happening, and also he's in the horrible situation where people are asking him about it after the game and he can't even be honest. Why would he come out and go, we're absolutely terrible, we're no organised, we need new players in the building? Because he knows he is literally the bridge between the old manager and the new. He's actually got responsibility to the club he's employed by to try and talk this up a wee bit, to try and get a manager in. That's why when they're interviewing him after the game, I think he's squirming a wee bit, and I totally understand why, because he was a smashing football player. He's been in the game for 20 odd years. He'll know it's no good enough, but he can't even come out. If it was his team, he could come out and go, it's no good enough to know. But he's kind of going, there's things there I see that I like, to try and talk us up a wee bit. I think he's been in a terrible position, and I feel really sorry for him. I think it's went on for too long. That's my take on it.
Well, the hope was that we were going to have somebody in for the Dundee game, and we've now let another 2 games pass for then. And now you're talking, if we even do get somebody in, they're going to have maybe 1 training session with the players, 2 training sessions max before the next biggest game of the season, which is on Saturday against Livingston. And I just don't think it's good enough. And I think that, I mean, that can come to cost us. We were talking 3 weeks ago today, Stuart Kirkwell gets sacked, and like, have we got to have a manager 3 days from now? I think that we probably will. But I still think that that's far too much time to pass when we desperately need results. It's bleak, mate, and it all comes back to the way the club's been run and the situation that we find ourselves in now. There's a huge mitigating circumstance here. We're not breaking any news here. The news out here that obviously there's been a significant bereavement in Billy Bowie's family, which more than excuses him no having Kelly at the front and centre of his universe, in my opinion. There's loads of folk no happy with him and with the regime that are in charge. I think a lot of that anger is understandable but misguided. That's my intake on it. I certainly don't agree with some of the rhetoric that's going about that Billy Bowie's somehow taken for this club. There's no way.
I just don't think there's any evidence for that whatsoever. And I now see comparisons with Michael Johnson. We never get relegated under Michael Johnson and all that. Michael Johnson didn't care about Kelly, mate, right? I mean, I don't know how many times folk need to say, and that's no opinion, that's the facts, right? Billy Bowie's a Kelly fan who's putting his own money in, and I'm now seeing folk talking as if they want rid of him. You're no talking about the right back here, mate, or the winger that you can get rid of and replace. This guy is literally putting his hand in his pocket to keep the club going at times. So I understand, and I'm with you. I don't think this has been good enough, and I think it really does shine a light on the football operations side, that it's all contingent on one man being available to do it, and that man has had bigger fish to fry. Therefore, it doesn't happen. I don't think that's acceptable for a club in the Premier League. But I also kind of get on board with this kind of relentless sort of, this isn't good enough, what are we doing, we're running the club into the ground. I don't think that's fair to the guy. I just don't. Folk are very welcome to disagree and tell me why, but I'm a wee bit worried about that, man, considering where we were when Billy Bowie got involved at the club, where we're heading in terms of the stuff off the park, the pitch, the infrastructure, the training ground that we're getting. And let's not forget, we get relegated and it was terrible, and we are in the shit right now, man, and there's definitely blame to be apportioned to the people running the club there. But it's also Steve Clark days, mate. It was also in Bruges last year, you know what I mean? It was also that night when we won the championship. There's been good times today. So I don't love the some of the things I'm reading and hearing about it. I just don't think it's right. No,
and I think that you've articulated that really, really well, and I agree with every word of it. So there's not much else that I can go over there, but it's just it's the same old issue in football here, where nobody talks about what's going on behind the scenes when everything's appears to be rosy. There's never and if there even is a fair criticism, then folks shoot it down because you're like, well, we're fourth in the league, we're this, that and the next thing. But these issues have been long withstanding before a month ago, or before we appointed Ketwell in the summer. This has been an issue for years about the football operations side of the club. They tried, at least under James Fowler, to bring in somebody like that. Whether he was, well, I think it's pretty fair to say that he wasn't the right man for that, but at least they went down that route. However, they let Derek McInnes just abandon that entire philosophy, and this is where we find ourselves. I just don't think that there's enough football-minded people at the club, and particularly on the board, and I don't think that's alright. And I think that they would desperately need somebody with that kind of nous to come in. But again, folk make the fair argument is, well, what do you want now? Do you want a proper centre defensive midfielder that would protect us and help us hopefully avoid the playoffs or avoid automatic relegation, or do you want a white collar job in at the club? Like, fans want everything all at the once, and sometimes it's not as easy as that. But I think that however we get out of this mess that we're in, it needs wrapped up in the summer big time. And I don't mean Bowie, as in because he's put his hand in his pocket, as you've said a million times, and out of the goodness in his heart to build that training ground, replace the pitch, all that they know, but they really need a shake up behind the scenes to get real football ops on board here, because it concerns me going forward, and we need to make sure that we don't find ourselves in this position again. And it's interesting with the Robbie Nielsen appointment, because he's somebody, if it has got to be Robbie Nielsen, that is somebody that's worked under kind of sporting directors and directors of football, I think every club he's been at.
Ashgar at Dundee United, wasn't it? That guy's name? Ashgar. So I mean, it's just not a very pleasant time to be a Kelly fan, mate. It's horrible. It's all up in the air. The stuff on the park is shit. The communication in terms of storytelling, I said that in the core and all, is awful, mate. Like, we are so bad at presenting ourselves properly. Like, I can't quite believe it. Look, for everything this club is, man, like the history of it, the success we've had, the size of it, I just feel like we're so weak at presenting compared to the likes of Motherwell, who, as we've always said in this podcast, is the most direct comparison you can make in terms of history and size and all that. I just feel like everybody who is involved with Scottish football knows what Motherwell are. They know what they stand for. They recognise the narrative that Motherwell present. And I just feel like we are so bad at that. And I do think it all comes back down to no having a figurehead at the club, no having that chairperson who is the face, who can direct traffic in terms of media, in terms of what people think, in terms of presenting all the good things about the club. I just feel like it's no there. And when things are shit on the park, that big gap gets filled with negativity, man.
Exposed big time.
Aye, it is. And it's alright when you're winning, mate, and you're finishing fourth in the league and you're trundling along, and nobody really cares because you get your victory Monday, and really that's what we want. But when it goes to 12 games, 13 games with no wins, and there is nothing coming out, there is no positive light getting shown, there's no but we can still, there's no rallying of the troops, there's nothing to hang on to. And I have never known it to be like this, mate. Like, I'm talking right back to the Twilight Zone when Gary Locke was in charge, and it was like, what are we all doing here? There was something like it was all, I was talking to somebody about it the other day, it was like a hate watch for me. Like, I was going to be angry at the team or something. I was like engaged still somehow. Now I'm like, I don't give a fuck, mate. Like, we're scoring and I'm like, right, I'm just getting no faith in it now, mate. It's as low as I've felt in a long time watching Kelly, mate.
It's exactly the same as me. I mean, I'm sitting in my seat on Saturday pissing myself, man, in the first half at how bad we were. But not even angry, but like, what else is there to get behind here? We're so far off it. It's the least engaged that I've felt as a Kelly fan in some time. And it's funny because everything, especially, we're literally on a platform now where you can spout whatever passion. Next week you forget about it and move on. But we do live, and Baz made that point brilliantly when he was on here about social media and that. But like, and he said at that time, it's nowhere near the worst Kelly team you've seen. He said it could get to that stage, but at this stage when he was on it, it's nowhere near that. But I now think that we've got to that stage, and as I said, it's the apathy, and folk are just really fed up, but there's not even enough anger. There was a wee bit of it shown on Saturday. There was a few boos ringing out, but I just think that the punters are not turning up, and those that are there can just hoping to get through 90 minutes, as opposed to, I mean, there just doesn't seem to be any passion in the vicinity of Rugby Park whatsoever.
No, and we'll be reflecting that. I know we're ones to talk, man, but I honestly do think it's 2025 was a terrible year.
It's awful
to be a Kelly fan, mate. And I think it for a few different reasons. We're going to do a big deep dive into that over in the Patreon, if anybody's signed up or fancies it. So I think 2025, because 2024 was such a high, man.
Aye.
It was a brilliant year. We had that run for Christmas right through to the summer, and then you had the Euros with Scotland, and you're waiting on the draw for Kelly in Europe, and then everything that came with Europe. And the year tailed off slightly, but we were talking obviously regularly, weekly, about the club, and you just expected it to turn back around though. You weren't like, oh, it's terrible. The only time that I remember going, maybe this isn't going to work, was when we got humped up at Ibrox.
Aye.
And we done a special that night, and thinking, all right, maybe this isn't right. It turned out it wasn't right, and the whole thing with McInnes happened. But I think you go for the higher 2024, which is probably just about as good a year as you're ever going to get.
Aye.
Right, if you take into account how well we did in that run-in, finishing 4th in the league, and then the European trips, mate. Can you watching Kelly in Copenhagen?
Aye.
Champions League stuff, man. You're like, what are we doing? And the hangover and the fall off since then, I think 2025 really, really gutted us as a club. The stuff with McInnes and then the appointment of Kettlewell, it was like surrender, mate, I thought. And I think the support are still really, really struggling with that. I honestly think it was a punch in the stomach days that full year.
Oh, well, it is. It's even when before you even consider all the off-field shambles, as we've just spoken about, nobody ever really goes to that when you're performing on the pitch, or even been as average as an average Kelly team can be, and it's not even been that. I think somebody said what we've had 9 wins in a calendar year, man.
I took 2 away for him and a whole in 2025.
And it's just like that when you actually, which we all do in the Patreon, run through the actual fixtures and that, you're like, you can't even think of really any games.
No.
I mean, that really were a high point, thinking like it was total and utter misery, and this was all portrayed to us. What was it, a few weeks ago we got a question on the Patreon or on the thing, we saying what was your highlight of 2025, and that's when it really hit home. You're like, we can't think any, and you were even hoping that wee spell like Christmas there, Ken, if you come through that, can you get your 7 points or whatever for the 3-4 games, then you're thinking that's something to build on. But we've just not been able to get going whatsoever. We had that one wee spell where it looked like we maybe were going to get dragged into the relegation battle, and we won away at St Johnstone, and then we won at Motherwell, and beat Dundee, and that was that. But it's it's been a truly awful year, man.
Been a bad year anyway, but coming off the back of a great year, I think
it makes it worse.
2025 has been horrible to be a Kelly fan, and we'll get more into that. If MD's wanting something cheery to start their year off, you can sign up. It's only a £5. Pay for the privilege, you know. Mate. So where we go for here, I don't know, but it's tough, man. Innit? It's like it's been a real battle.
Well, in the amount of comments that I've had for folk, particularly on Saturday at Hibs, is like, I don't envy you having to go in and have to try and speak about this and maybe talk it up on Monday, but I don't think that I've done that whatsoever. I've probably been as negative as I've been. No,
wait, right, this is what we're going to do then. My wife makes me do this. What are 3 things you're thankful for? You're meant to, it's a mindfulness exercise.
Like Kelly related?
Aye.
Right.
I want everybody at home to do this, right? So if you're driving along, think 3 things that you're thankful for that you're a Kelly fan, or 3 things about Kelly that you're thankful for.
Well, despite my only 30 minutes appearance there, the 2 away games, but the travelling to the games with Ken, your best mates, and all the rest of it, and they kind of
so drink. It's constant.
You can do it sober as well, man.
Can you?
Aye, can do it sober.
Taylor's talking about driving up to Livingston on Saturday. Taylor pass his driving test, everybody.
That's right. You heap tons of pressure on.
Plenty of pressure, but he stood up, gave him the winning penalty, and he dinked it.
Somebody can do it, so that's brilliant. Aye, so you got the motor.
So he's got the car, and I think he's like, I might drive up to Livingston on Saturday.
I get it. You got to go with him.
So if he drives, I'll go.
Aye, to keep a wee eye and make sure everything will go
well. Put a bucket in the back.
You should, man.
Aye.
I've got my siblings there on Saturday, so
have you?
I'll not be able to, because we deliberately, Julie and Matthew are the only ones that watch, but Julie earmarked that at the time and thought, we'll live it away, it's not really one to get excited about, is it? And now here we are.
And now we'll unveil Steve Bruce and you'll be devastated.
Exactly, man.
Right, 1 year away days, right, give me another 2 things to be thankful for, come on.
Well, the training ground and that, I think that for the future will be it's a massive step in the right direction for Kelly. Well, there's not much else because I'm struggling to come up with a third.
Right.
The third, I honestly don't know.
No.
Right, let's hear your 3.
3 things I'm thankful for. Kettlewell's not the manager anymore. I think I genuinely think that we're already in a better position a month than we were a month ago. Because I think whoever we get will be an improvement. That's my genuine feeling. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for all the wonderful memories.
2025?
Just in general, ever since in my almost 4 decades watching the club. And I'm thankful also for
the training ground.
The training ground, which is looking great. Cricket Home's finest piece of land. No, listen, it's still Kelly, mate.
I know, but we really need to get our act together.
We did, didn't we?
And start taking ourselves a bit more seriously.
That's what it is for me. That's what it is. We're not presenting ourselves properly. That's the thing. Football's football, man. You're going to lose games. You're going to get relegated. You're going to get put out of the cup by Stirling Albion and all that. Whatever, man. But you've got to shine a bit of light in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you, Callum? Go to blow your own trumpet.
Absolutely spot on.
You know what I mean?
Spot on.
And that's what I want. I want somebody in at the club, a chairman or woman or a CEO.
I say we get Lee Clark back up the road.
Get Lee Clark. They want to give you a training ground to be proud of. Where's Mimi Retty? I did play with Zinedine Zidane. I don't care what you think.
Get him back, man. He would be a great figurehead, man. He would talk the talk. There's no doubt about that.
Well, that's what we need. Never mind walk the walk. We just need somebody to talk. Right, we've got loads of questions, so fire through them, shall we?
Aye, let's go for it.
Alan sent his gripe through
via Instagram, I believe.
Let me see. I've taken a screenshot yet.
Which I believe on the Patreon said was his highlight of 2025.
Well,
so I'm thankful for Alan Agnew's.
So I'm thankful for everybody that listens to this. That's a genuine.
Aye, absolutely.
Right, let's get into it. How the hell can we play well at 1-1 then collapse? So we did play alright for 20 minutes, I thought. I wonder who we will get. I fear it may be Mickey Mouse and Daffy Duck at this rate. Some of the names bandied about have really given me the willies. As for players, they should be looking in the mirror. Some of them need to go now. We have over 16 players out of contract, so whoever comes in has a tough job. Even Lazarus couldn't do it. Was a Greek manager or something? So it could be back to part-time football. I'm starting to lose all motivation to go to the games. Even Santa couldn't help us. I used to be a goalie and would have stopped that first one. I may come out of retirement with my Zimmer frame and I'd pay money to see that. I hope and pray we get this right, or we'll be back on Friday nights on BBC. Help, I need a diet ironed out. Anyway, Happy New Year, boys. Thanks, Alan. Well, mate, I actually think that's pretty fair.
Aye.
You know what I mean? That's for Alan, it's quite straight down the line, man. No talk of seagulls, etc. Right, let's jump across to the poll that I put up yesterday. 685 votes, 89% in favour of Robbie Neilson over Neil McCann.
So going by the board's previous.
So we'd like to announce Neil McCann as new manager of Carmarthen Football Club. Right, here we go. Questions. Alan Bowie gets in touch. Alibaba. The on-field decline at the club is concerning, and to be honest, I'm not 100% convinced that Billy Bowie and PC
Phyllis
Carroll, I was thinking McLeish, sorry.
Right.
CJ, which is Kathy Jameson, and DB, which is Don Bertram, necessarily have all the answers and the skill sets. It shouldn't be all about who has the deepest pockets. We can't be relying on that. I'll throw that one to you, Cal.
Again, I think that valid criticisms is fair, and it's healthy, because as a democracy it should be able to talk about it. But again, it's one of those that where would we be without Billy Bowie, and that's not just always.
Where would we be without Kathy as well? Who
has built the club out big time for various different things that maybe folk aren't even familiar with. But Kathy was done very good. But I think as well and obviously this will naturally be coming for Alan, who's a trust member. But at times, like the trust rep always seems to get it in the neck.
I think Don, he's not the chance at the end, has he?
No, he's no. But I'm not even saying that's what Alibaba's saying there at all. But I just mean you see that in the forums, and the trust rep is always the one that seems to they go for more than the rest of them. But which I don't think is fair considering. But I think it's a case of where would we be without them. And it's all come down to, and again, I've said that the issues have been there, and scratch between the surface, they've always been there for the last few years. But it ultimately all comes down to a point get well in the summer. Honestly, that's what I think.
I think so too. It's such an awful appointment.
Right? And it just set everybody back, even though folk were desperate to get behind it because there was no other alternative. But I think that they'll reap what they sow with that. And I think that we appointed Robbie Neilson in the summer. If he was available and willing to take the job, we wouldn't have been in this position now, and therefore a lot of these criticisms wouldn't be aired as publicly as they are.
Aye, we're firefighting. Well, I really appreciate Alibaba's contributions, both on the forums and certainly when we've had discussions. Very, very, very switched on, and it offers loads and loads. I don't know anything about finances attached to Fit, but I would never kid on that a day, because I genuinely don't. I actually don't really understand how it works. It's a wee bit like for me when they talk about space travel. I actually don't understand it. I like thinking of myself as a fairly learned individual.
Just watch Interstellar, mate.
That's what I mean. I just feel like sometimes I just don't get. And sometimes they talk about shares.
Aye.
This is X amount of share. I don't know what any of that means. So I would like somebody to give me a wee shares for
Ali
dummies.
Baba's your man.
Aye, nosy stuff. Right, okay, next one. CJ Mack Wrestling. The wrestler that followed his Kelly strip.
I met him.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, is this what I'm about to say?
Aye.
Lucky you. Oh, so he did. Got to my first game since Bruges at home, and to say it was a drop off would be an understatement. It was great to meet Cal before the game, who kept my blind optimism in check. I bet he did, mate. No luck, man. Whoever's coming in, the number one job is to make us horrible, a horrible team to try and beat again. There you go. That would be a good start, wouldn't it?
Aye, well, absolutely spot on. But it was a pleasure to meet the man himself. Again, but what a come down that is, man.
Aye, to go for Bruges to that the other day.
Aye.
Really bad.
But it was good to see him back over before he heads back out to the States.
Happy days, man. Ali Niven got in touch, friend at pod. I raised the decline in David Watson's performance after Falkirk away, and the thought process was the team around him were dragging him down. I would like to resubmit the question for reconsideration. And where do you think this squad finishes in this year's championship? So Watson's performances, Ali raised the point that his performances fell off due to mostly the team round about him falling off. He didn't have a good game again on Saturday, I didn't think. A couple of wee turns that were alright, but I mean, that's not enough. Get sent off, fair red card.
Aye, I think that it's a wee bit soft, but I still know why it's a red.
So
I'm not going to sit here greeting about it. I'm a bit like, I think it is harsh, but I know.
Also know enough to overturn it, I would say.
That's exactly it. That's exactly
just
it.
on the cusp.
And I think had the ref given a yellow, VAR would probably intervene and make it a red.
And maybe read it.
Nah.
Where do you think he's going to end up? Do you think he'll leave in the next couple of weeks?
I think that we need cash in, man.
Aye.
We need money. And
He's not gone for 5 million now, has he?
He's not. Remember that the bidding war in the battle. Take us back, yeah.
They were the days, mate, weren't they? Happier times.
But I just think it's funny that, and I get that because, I mean, everybody deserves to get it, but I just think that some of the criticism in Watson's been kind of over the top as well.
I sometimes feel that folk can't wait.
Aye, because he is such like the lovable one, and aye, but he's no. But I'm like,
aye,
but the one thing that I will say, whether in Watson hasn't been good, but I don't, and I'm not saying that a lot of them don't care, but you can't ever fault his effort. You can't ever come out of a game and think that he's not left everything on the park.
Aye,
even when things aren't working. And I think that's one thing I'll say. But that's the type of player that he is. Well, no, he's no can give me the ball and I'll do this or that. Even though, as you said, he had a few decent wee turns at the weekend, but his game's all about aggression and running in folks' faces and doing this or that. And the rest of the team aren't performing. They can't do the job with everybody else. But I'm not saying that the criticism isn't fair because he has been underperforming, but I just think that it's such a weird scapegoat, you know, is David Watson.
Aye, there's plenty of them, mate. I don't think anybody's performed to any reasonable standard, to be honest with you. I think that the problem with the team is my big issue with the squad is the kind of seasoned pros. That's where my worry is, that your standard bearers. I don't know, mate. I think Watson maybe needs to fall into that lot. Kenny's young, but he's played an awful lot of games. I think we should be getting a bit more out of him. That's my own personal opinion. Love the guy to bits. Would love him to stay. But to me, the thing that's our big problem is, and it has dragged the standard right down, is your seasoned pros, mate. Dees, Mayo, Kilty, Anderson, Lyons, Polworth. These are the guys, mate, that you're meant to be relying on. Like, these are the guys that you're hoping are Premier League level players. You can get a 6.5, 7 out of 10 in the most weeks, mate. You don't need them to be world beaters, but you can build your squadron about them. And as long as you get 5 or 6 of them in your team, you can get Brannan in, who's a young guy. You can get Dackers in, who doesn't know the league. To me, they're the guys that have brought the level, because none of them are performing to any standard.
Do you think that they were always, with the exception of Watson, maybe of that level? And now that they've been asked to be the top players in the team, and they just aren't. That's
it, mate. That's articulated better than me. That's what I think they guys are. We maybe thought they were better than they were because they had Armstrong and Finlay and Ndaba. By the way, folk were saying at the start of the season that Thompson was an upgrade in Ndaba.
We need to dig the comments.
I can't, mate. I can't. Ndaba's running about playing against Juventus Saturday night. It's mad. But no, honestly, we get this is my problem, mate. We were fooled, mate. We've been fooled. I was myself. I don't mind, but I thought Kettlewell was a terrible appointment, right? I did. slightly watered down my opinion on here because I didn't want to seem like a bam and I didn't want to seem like I was against the guy, right? You went anyway. You had already put your feelings out there, but again, we backed him. And I think I fell slightly. You were much better at being like, hold on a minute here, mate. Right, okay, we're in third in the league, but it's not exactly. I was a wee bit further, and I drank the Kool-Aid slightly more. I was like, no, I think we're getting somewhere here. But some sort of collective hypnosis fell over us that we all bought into that for 4 or 5 weeks, man.
There definitely must be like a proper psychological term for it, which I'm going to throw out to my brother Matthew to do that, because folk were absolutely kidding themselves on with what they were seeing in front of them. And I mean, one of the worst shouts was somebody on the forums was trying to say, when we were sitting in that period where we'd won 2 games in the bounce, the last games of football we won, it's a shame that Bowie just didn't give Kettlewell the job when McInnes got it.
Aye, we would have been.
Which was just that. And this is me who isn't the biggest Derek McInnes fan in the world, but to even have that thought race through your head.
Aye. It's a concern, isn't it? I don't know what happened to us all, and I'm guilty as MD. Right, Sean McAngus gets in touch and says, where do you think this team would finish in the championship?
Fourth.
Sean McAngus says, who would you keep from the current squad? I was at the game on Saturday. I think it's the worst Kelly team I've seen in my life. Hibs didn't get out of first gear.
Agreed. Well, again, it's one of them. I don't think they're, as Chris Dillon says, good people, man, but no very great football players at this moment in time. But I think that it's because we're missing real quality, and then that is enough. As we've said, a lot of these guys are more than good enough at this level, but it needs peppered with quality, and we don't have that.
Needs peppered with quality and experience. That's what I think it needs. We need 4 or 5 to come in, 2 or 3 guys on loan for somewhere in England or abroad who are visibly, evidently better, that will lift everybody else, and 2 or 3 guys with a bit of experience that can guide them through the games, and we might end up having enough, because I think the likes of Lyons and Anderson are alright as your soldiers, man, but they can't be your capos.
Aye, there we go.
That's what I'm saying. Martin Wall gets in touch for the Killie View. Happy New Year, lads. Welcome back. 1 game at a time starting this weekend. It's maybe so right now, but the good times will come back. We're all in it together.
Very good message.
Beautiful,
from Martin,
mate.
man.
You're showing your gratitude there, man. The Killie Pie King, who goes the other way, that's here's pal Chrissy Kimmett. I'm absolutely scunnered with Killie. No heart and a defence with more holes than a sieve. Unfortunately, this is just his patter here. Unfortunately, we have inherited Kettlewell's loser boys from loser boy clubs, and players are not up to the task. What can a new manager bring to the squad that Dools can't?
Well, that's Kimmett called the James Brown one right off the bat, which again he's been vindicated. I would say, but we're just talking about experience on the part there, but experience off it's vital as well, and that's one thing that Dillon doesn't have. And I'm not putting this at Chris Dillon's door because it's absolutely nothing to do with him, but we just need somebody in, and a Robbie Nielsen would be extremely welcome. Somebody probably a bit of badness in him, man, kind of a bit of nasty streak, man, which I like, man.
Daniel Plainview.
I hope so, man. But intelligent enough guy. Actually, I think he speaks pretty well, but let's remember the type of player that he was, man. You know what I mean? Like, he was dirty bastard, man.
To be messed with, Robbie.
But a very good player at this level as well. So I just think we need something like that, and he can put a lift the place.
Alexander Marchi, if you were the new manager coming in, what's the first 3 things you do in day one?
Oof. Well, sign a winger or a couple, please. Bit more structured. I don't give a shit about good football, that, to be honest.
Nope.
I just want us to be, as somebody, one of the earlier comments, we just need to be really be hard to beat and minging. So a bit of structure in place, something that we know that we're actually, so we know what we're turning up to watch every week, because I'm not sure what it is that we are watching, but and a bit of width wouldn't go amiss.
Perfect. The real boy that gets in touch. Hello, mate. Brannan's delivery, for the most part, particularly from dead ball situations, was a high point of the game for me.
Yep.
With a delivery like that, he has to be in the park more often. With help, if someone could make use of the great balls, but I wanted to highlight it anyway. I would agree with that, mate. He's a tidy player with the ball at his feet, isn't he?
Yeah, so and again, that's one of the few positives that we can maybe touch on in the Patreon.
Yep. Mikey Kenmure, hello, mate. Happy New Year, lads. Welcome back. Hopefully Nielsen appointed by the time you're in here. I have the fear that we're going to be appointing McCann, though, which I think would be a disaster.
Wee McCann would be a good part of that.
I like Neil McCann.
So
I like him on the telly.
Everybody's been drinking out this Kool-Aid for the last year or so. Maybe kind of just after the Rangers stuff. I'm a long time admirer of Neil McCann.
Aye.
I'm talking 10, 15 years.
Brilliant player,
Early days in Sky
tremendous
Sports.
player too.
Top class, but early days in Sky Sports with David Tanner, always liked him. Thought he had a brilliant voice.
Aye.
Great communicator.
Singing wise, you heard him?
Aye.
What do you think Neil McCann's karaoke song is?
Maybe not allowed to say that on there.
Oh, I think he was. No, come on.
I'm kidding on, man.
A name like
We were
McCann.
kidding with what school he went to. Where the abuse of Celtic fans.
Dunkel, changed his
Yeah,
mind.
exactly.
Strikes me as somebody that would maybe sing something like the Kaiser Chiefs.
Nah, he's better than that.
You think so?
Aye, miles better than
I
that.
think he's. I know. I think he would maybe sing "I Predict a Riot" or something.
Nah.
No, because I think he's got the emotional intelligence to know you've got to get the crowd going at karaoke. Nothing worse. I'm not saying it's a good song. We can't go up there and sing Jeff Buckley. Get what I mean?
No.
As much as I love the guy.
Babylon, David Gray, man.
Is that what you would sing? You think that's what Neil McCann's going to sing? Right,
aye.
okay. Hopefully he gets the job and we can ask him. Maybe we'll get invited to the press conference.
We can ask him.
What's your karaoke song, Neil? Right, Gunnar Vance, who had a lovely text exchange with on Hogmanay.
Same.
What do you mean same? Is this messaging you or not?
Aye.
Right, we need you boys to get some good vibes flowing. Sorry, man. I've had the full range of emotions this season. Excited after Brandon's goal at Hibs, then on to angry at being swatted aside most weeks, to laughing at the constant mistakes, and finally on Saturday, no emotion at all.
At least there's somebody sharing my laughter.
The groundsman must have gotten a corkscrew in their cracker at half time. Crackers to get half the players out the pitch at half time. Even the new manager coming in has dragged on too long. Position we're in, if we stay up, it will be a miracle and one of the biggest turns around in recent history.
Oh, but if we avoid the bottom two places, then it's manager of the year material. Whoever gets it with the deficit that we've got to face here. Don't mind go and talk about deficits and recessions and all that all the time again here, but we need to badly get out this mess. But we're going to finish 11th. So I just think that will be it.
Scott gets in touch. What grounds in the championship you're looking forward to seeing?
None.
No?
Nah.
It was brilliant the last time I went to the championship. What a laugh.
It was so shitty, wasn't it?
It was a pit
But as we were kidded ourselves on, it would be alright. Then after
getting good at that, aren't we?
Aye. But nah, obviously going back to Somerset.
I think they might get promoted. Boydie says, do you think we can turn this around? Who should we be bringing in the window? We need some big signings. Any names?
A goalie would be good.
Aye.
Craig Gordon.
But he's what about the boy McCarthy, Hearts, centre half? And all didn't seem to be playing. We take him. Blair Spittle.
You're only allowed one Premiership loan over the age of a certain.
That's right.
Isn't it? Because remember, that's why I think over the age of 21. So, but then you've got the likes of the boy at Rangers, isn't it? Like
Finlay Curtis
and that.
Aye, he would be good, wouldn't he?
But then Lyle Cameron, and that's potentially up for loan.
Aye, we take him.
And did you see what Clark's nephew posted?
Dumpweed.
Aye, posted.
We're in for an attacking midfielder.
Aye, saying that about the eBay for
players.
Aye, funny.
David Faulds, who is not just a friend at Pod, a long-standing friend of both of us.
Well, he's certainly somebody that would have really loved that comment for you about alright to be soldiers and no capos.
Aye, that's right. That's street,
Christopher Maltasanti couldn't be trusted in the big role, man.
He bottled it, didn't he?
Self-sabotage, man.
Terrible what he did to that wee Doug, man. Right, we need a couple of Christopher, no you, Dave. We need a couple of quality creative players to come in and give us a shot in the arm. It's been the same for 14 or 15 players going to the well, and they just aren't good enough. If we can find a couple of gems from somewhere, anywhere to help them, we might have a slim chance. That's so true, isn't it?
Aye.
Spot on, man. Gavin Wilson, given how much Ross County have toiled this season, where do you think this current squad would be in the championship?
Aye, well, similar question there.
They're struggling, man. We need to get a new manager in. Ross County.
The Messiah's there.
Who go at the job?
The prodigal son has returned, man.
What do you mean?
The cat.
The cat, is he?
Aye. Really, if they should watch his interview, man, not just the quote. Because not only does he refer to himself as a prodigal son, well, said that I am no prodigal son, which David Hanna put out a brilliant tweet about.
Aye, can I really...
The amount of folk that use that term that don't actually understand that. But he also kept referring to himself as a messiah, but saying that he's no messiah. And as I called it earlier in the season, somebody that constantly has to say, I've got no ego, means that they definitely have an ego.
Aye, that's right. Well, I say that all the time. Angus says, big questions are, who are we hiring and what budget will they have to bolster this depleted squad? That's giving me hope that Nielsen will get the job, mate, because I do believe that it seemed like he definitely was out the running, and now he seems to be back in it. So I'm hoping they've maybe opened the purse strings a wee smidgen.
Which the board deserves credit for if they pull that off.
100%, mate. Kevin KTID gets in touch. Hi, mate. Kilmarnock FC formed on this day in 1869. Happy 157th birthday to the Blues. I expected an announcement about that today. Thought it would be appropriate.
Would be, but as you said, and this is us no actually having a beat the media boys, because I don't blame
Far
them.
from it. Media boys are, I'm sure, cooking up ideas all the time, but it's
Just
they've not got the creative freedom, man.
Nah.
You've got to let guys like that do their thing. They're artists, right? See, connecting with people and telling stories, it's not a science, mate, it's an art. It's like cooking and baking. See, you want to bake a cake, you need to follow the process. So you want to make a delicious seafood assiette, you've got to flow, man. Let the media boys run riot and do some funny stuff.
One of my New Year's resolutions: learning to cook.
Are you, mate?
Aye.
Good. Well, you've got a great teacher at home.
I know, but I've said that every year for the last 40 years, and
You
it's
can make it happen this year.
aye.
Sean Cowan, what about Hales at Ross County? Ronan Hale?
Aye,
He'd be
good,
class,
good
wouldn't he?
player, aye, but I don't know what he's been up to this year.
No. Kettle will not let him go anyway. Kettle turn him into a £5 million player.
He will, aye.
That's what he does with guys. Tommy Calderwood, if you guys could pick any job in football, what would it be? Obviously can't pick Kelly manager, but even like Kitman or that. I had a chat to Kitman Kev in the bar,
did you?
so I did. Such a lovely guy, man.
Good man.
Such a lovely guy. What about so what would your job in football be?
Well, it'd be good to make a full-time living out of this.
Podcasting. Don't want to get your hopes up, mate.
Again,
They're
I know.
never fucking here anyway.
Aye, in order to fund my lifestyle.
Aye, perfect. Mine would be.
But it's no, it's cooked up to be Watland football.
No, it's an industry, mate. Just as hard and it's cutthroat too.
It is.
I mean, you couldn't survive. We're too nice, too soft.
And I ken somebody that's been kit man at a few clubs.
You do indeed.
Tough job.
Aye. If I could have any job in football, it would be, don't know, like kind of like Arsenal and Man U and all that. They've got like 40 coaches. Just one of the guys that hovers about and gets paid like $100,000 a year and just gets all the trackies and all that.
Oh, well, I've got one that will trump that.
Aye.
Third or fourth choice goalkeeper at Man City.
Ah, there you go. That's
for
the
like,
one.
to fill the quota.
Aye.
For being British, man, and getting no doing anything all year and packing up 40 grand a week.
You just describe yourself as British? Oh, I did see that flag right enough.
Correct.
Tam,
What's your passport say, mate?
mine says British.
You got an Irish passport?
I'm trying to get one. Tam Downey gets in touch with Man U sacking their manager. Do you think Kettle will take it? Kettle's already got a job, mate. A better job. He's at Ross County. Galak. This is a beautiful tweet, mate. I want Republica blaring out pre-match. I want Baywatch on the telly when I get home for the football. I want an evening with Freddie Starr. I want the next manager to play 4-4-2 with pacey wingers. This man remembers 1998 very well.
Take us back, man.
As the eye, mate. Sounds good. Alessandro Boscanero, who is many things but not Italian. Got to help if you're trying to put a positive spin on things tonight. And Leicester's announcement today, of course. Tried our best. We're trying to be thankful, man. Callum McGee, who's really good value on Twitter now.
Excellent.
Speaking
and on the forums.
Aye. If you could sign 4 players realistically, who do you think could keep us up in January? Who would it be? Curtis and Spittle would be 2 I'd have on loan. Both fair shouts.
Aye, well,
seem fairly reasonable. Can't think of any experienced defenders or strikers that might be available though.
Aye, and again, it's one of those with the actual rules of who we can get and who we can't. But if we can get a young player for, i.e., likes of Curtis or that for Rangers that fits that criteria, and a proper experienced Scottish Premiership player, be it that goalkeeper or outfielder, would definitely be welcome. And then, as you said, go down to England. Or maybe the Belgian market now, the American market, whatever, who knows, to try and add a bit of pace and quality would do us the world to get.
Spittle's a brilliant shout, mate. That would be amazing. Colin McDowell, some support for Billy Bowie would be nice. He does not deserve the online abuse. Also support in relation to his recent bereavement. 100%, mate. That's what we said earlier on the day. No excuse for that type of thing, I don't think. And again, folk are more than entitled to their views, but I just think it's just got to be treading a very, very careful line there, man. You've got, like you said, mate, you've got to be able to vent your spleen and say it's no good enough, and there are so many holes in the way the club are being run. I totally agree with that. I think Billy himself will know that too.
Aye.
But we're talking about somebody that's paying the wages like here. Like sometimes it's no the same as moaning about a manager or a player, in my humble opinion.
And that's the thing, and the one thing that I don't ever see for Bowie or that is like arrogance.
No, I
as
don't
if
think
he's
so.
sitting saying, well, what the fuck do they think? Like, I know better than him, which he actually does, by the way, anyway. But I don't even buy that. I just think that it's because of the circumstances that we're in that most criticism gets shelled that way, and that's just a fact of the matter.
Andy T, Happy New Year, lads. Hope you both hope you both had a great time off.
Did so, man.
Thank you, Andy. You too, mate. Happy New Year to you, man. Robbie, one thing we need badly in January is someone like Pascali or even a Michael Nelson. Zero leadership in the squad. Totally agree. It'd be amazing to get a proper experienced pro in there to marshal the defence. Remember we saying Gary Dicker in January? Something like that. It'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Aye. Well, that's why we are where we are now.
Aye.
You lose Joe Wright and Stuart Finlay not only for their aerial exploits in the opposition box, even though Finlay never scored enough the second fourth time around, whatever it was, but just the leadership at the back for both him and Joe Wright. Again, Joe Wright, well, he could walk in water, what I was about to say there, but Ken, sometimes liable for conceding goals in that, but you knew he would pull you at the ship more than. And that's what we're missing. Absolutely.
And the short leash salmon chucker gets in touch to say we need to look at any immediate short term solution to getting goals. Bobby Wales sat with an arse full of skelf sitting on the bench. Is he an option to bring back up from Swansea? Just checking I've missed any.
I mean, it could be, but it's just one of those that whether that would be that welcomed. But again, no as if, but I just mean like there's no guarantee either. You know that Wales has got to come up and.
No, I wouldn't like he scored 15-20 goals a season.
But a very good player, but would he thrive in this team now? I don't know, but don't get me wrong, if he was announced tomorrow I would be happy to see him back enough. But I don't think that we can put all our eggs in that one basket with
Bobby Wales.
Get a message for Christy Sykes as well.
I seen his wee boy was the mascot.
That's what it's came to. So he said, so I know there's a massive disconnect between the board, players and fans at the moment, but credit is due to Rory McKenzie, who on Saturday after the game came out and stood and got a few photos with me and my wee boy, and even run back in and brought him out his tracksuit top to give him. This is just a touch of class from a Kelly legend. Also special mention to Bruce, who was class with Oscar and couldn't have been nicer. So again, just shows a bit of perspective and all that.
This is what we need to focus on. We need to get these stories out there, man. We need to let folk know that who we are and what we're all about, and we are an attractive club with great support, and we just need to please win a game of football. 98 days it'll be. What was it? We got a message. It was Kelly Kitts, who I just love so much. But Rangers and Celtic
went through 7 managers.
7 managers, including interim, since we last won a game. Tells you everything you need to know, mate. Done it. But there we go. Right, man. Any messages, positivity to end the show on as we head into a new year?
Stick with us, man.
Just stick with it.
And I just mean the podcast, no the
never mind them, man.
We've just got to hope that things will get better. If I firmly believe though, if we're able to get Robbie Neilson, that's a massive statement because of where we're at, and because he's not just jumping into any job. That's a big thing for me.
Yes.
He's somebody that's measured, and if he's coming to us now and the circumstances that we're in, where we're 9 points off the pace, really, then he sees a future here, like which maybe you and I can't see immediately. We're just looking to the next game and at the end of the season and hope that we stay up. But if we're able to put a point somebody like that, then you're hoping that he's somebody that can get us to where we need to be over the next couple of years.
Excellent, mate. Aye, so keep the faith, and we could have a new manager by this time tomorrow who brings in a couple of signings on Friday, who comes straight into the team on Saturday. We go up to Livingston and win 3-0, and it kicks off a run of form that means we end up finishing 9th or 10th, and we go again, everybody. Listen, just go to stick with it the new. That's it. Nothing else for it, man.
There is nothing else for it.
Find the joy, man. See, if you don't like the world, be the change. You be the nice person that you can't find in this world. Or something, I don't know. Was that even believable there?
Aye, it was.
Was it? Good.
Absolutely was.
Right, so hopefully next week we'll be talking about a win. Mm-hmm. We'll get back to raising more money. We'll do our all roads again.
Aye, so that money was handed over.
That money was handed over. Tremendous work. And we can get back into a flow because it's been a strange few weeks and months.
Lack of Saturday 3 o'clocks.
All that stuff, but we're going to get back into it. But as ever, we thank you for listening, for watching, for sharing it and all that, sticking with it, even though it's been a grim year to Foley Kelly. But onwards and upwards, 2026.
Onwards and upwards.
After all, we both are still in our 30s.
Aye, for another
few
12
weeks,
weeks or so.
Another few weeks yet. But aye, right, cheers everybody for listening. Hope you all had a cracking Christmas and New Year. And if you're going up to Livy on Saturday, enjoy the game. We'll be back next Monday to talk about it, whether we win, lose or draw. And I assume we have a new manager to discuss, so looking forward to that.
Can't wait.
Alright, catch you later everybody. Thank you again.